IGN Live at E3 2018 is back, and we are going to show you every game, every press conference, and every secret spilled. In just a few, we have Xbox's games marketing director, Aaron Greenberg, here in the studio, so sit tight. But right now, we're going to check out one of the most anticipated sequels of the show, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Let's welcome the CEO and game director of Moon Studios, Thomas Mahler, to the IGN stage. Thomas, thank you so much for coming by.
Absolutely, thank you.
Congratulations, you just had a showing of Ori and the Will of the Wisps at the Xbox briefing. This is the first really big meaty look at the game after it was announced last year.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. I know myself and many of our viewers are big fans of the first game.
Oh, thank you.
So what did you want to accomplish when you started approaching the sequel?
I think the big thing that we kind of like want to bring up, and there's a little bit of footage there.
Yeah.
So we read everything that people said about Ori and the Blind Forest, right? And our goal was to really, think about how can we drive this to perfection. Like we had something that people already really liked, you know? And this time it was really about like, how can we improve it even more? How can we really perfect the formula? So what you see here is the combat gameplay. Like we completely redid the combat system, and we looked at all the other Metroidvanias and so on, right? And we wanted to take it a level further. So for every player and every playstyle, there's something in there now. So if you want to play really fast, you have the Spirit Edge weapon and so on. If you want to play slow, you have the Spirit Smash. There's tons and tons of weapons in there. There's spells you can use this time around. It's completely varied. It's crazy the amount of variety we have in there.
And so what we're seeing here, is this an early portion of the game?
This is a little bit later in the game, but we changed the area a little bit for E3 so that people have an easier time playing it.
Because the game was not a cakewalk.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And we do try to keep that. Like we do try to keep a good challenge, but at the same time, for the show we made it a little bit more accessible. And generally, we want the game to be more accessible for people. And there's a lot of mechanics and a lot of new things in there. We really kind of like fluidly try to teach people how the game is being played and so on.
The first game has a couple like emotional gut punch moments.
Oh yeah.
People cried in that game. Are you like, all right, in the sequel, we're gonna make them cry even harder?
Yeah, I mean the funny thing is, the original ending that I wrote for Blind Forest is this time actually in the game. Yeah. So, and I mean I think we're gonna bring it home finally this time. Yeah.
So what is it about Metroidvanias that you like? I love Metroidvanias.
Oh, I grew up playing, games like Super Metroid and so on. And I mean, when we started Blind Forest, there weren't that many around, which is crazy, right? Because right now there's a lot of them.
More of a resurgence right now, yeah.
Right. And it was really just about like, I love the genre, so we just really wanted to look at how can you make the perfect example of that. We really want to, like we're working so hard on like looking at how can we create a masterpiece, right? How can we create something that even a decade from now, people will just enjoy playing, right? It still really holds up. Because if I play games now like Symphony of the Night still, right? Like they still hold up and we're really all about that. We want to make sure, we craft a game that is, first of all, a sequel that people really love, right? That really takes what we did in the first game, but then elevates it to a whole new level. And we want to craft something that is just like known as, a masterpiece or modern classic.
And then what's the story this time, or what's the setup for the sequel this time around?
We don't want to really talk a lot yet.
I understand because the opening moments of the original Ori are kind of like something that you don't want to spoil for you as well. So I understand if you don't want to get too much.
But we've shown during the trailer, you've seen Ori ride on Ku. That's that little owl.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about that. Yeah.
There's a lot that'll happen with Ku in this game.
Ku provides you some new abilities?
Yeah, generally there's things that you can do with Ku that you couldn't do before. But I mean, generally, like if you look at this is the burrow gameplay. Yeah, there's three big things that we are showing in the in the show floor. Like that's maybe people don't know about that yet, but we do have a full playable at the show floor, fully playable build of the Windswept Wastes. And there's three big things that we really want people to focus on. First of all, we have the new combat system. Like this completely revamped and is doing lots of crazy things that I don't think people have really seen in the genre the way we do it yet. And then we have the grapple gameplay, which also adds a whole new ability to Ori. Like one of the abilities that people really liked in Ori and the Blind Forest was the bash. Right. It allowed you to kind of like bash around the area like a ninja, right? And now with the grapple, that's really cool. And then, just for every single area that we have in the game, we want to have completely new, cool gameplay mechanics. And here in the Windswept Waste, we're showing the burrow gameplay. And that means, hey, you can actually like burrow in all the sand and so on and catapult yourself up and even like use it for combat as seen here, right? So generally, any good ability in Ori is always used for platforming, but then also for puzzles and then also for combat. And us kind of like connecting all of that together so that you really look like a badass little guardian spirit. That's the whole goal.
This is Ori. He is pretty badass. So you say you've revamped the combat system.
Yeah.
So what was it about the system in the first game that wasn't quite working for you, or that you felt needed improvement?
We felt it was a good system for the time because we really wanted to focus on the platforming. So it was all kind of like based around that, right? But this time we really wanted to also elevate the combat so that it has as much variety and as much flow as the actual platforming. So just to really perfect it, right? Like we really wanted to get it up there so that you can really use the combat abilities in combination with all the platforming abilities to just create this flow. To us, game feel is super important to just make sure that if you play a game for 5 minutes, that it just feels incredible. Yeah. And if you play this, like you can do these cool things where it's like you start into a combo, then you dash back, then you grapple yourself up, then you land behind the enemy and launch a special, and so on. And that's the kind of gameplay that we're going for this time.
The artwork, of course, is also one of the major selling points for both of these games. It's a 2D game, but of course you can it doesn't feel like a 2D game at all. You can I'm looking way into the distance there, and sometimes you'll see things up close right in front of the camera. So how does that? Is that all of your artistic team, or did the level designers work on that as well?
Yeah, we hired a lot of really great talent. The team that we have at Moon Studios now, it's bananas. That's the team that we get to work with. And they're just incredibly talented. And we one of the big things that we're showing here is that if you look at kind of how Ori walks around and so on, there's lighting now on everything, and everything is physical. So we brought in all these kind of physics setups, and then for every single texture that we have in the game now, we actually it's insane, but we started painting 6 light masks so that everything can get properly lit. So every single little piece that you see there now needs 6 textures on top so that you can really have this dynamic lighting going on there. And we're playing with that in terms of gameplay as well.
Do you feel limiting yourself to 2 dimensions provides for more artistic detail and things that you would be much harder to do in 3D? I can't imagine rendering this world in 3D, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think to us it's really just about kind of perfecting that, right? To me, Ori is a lot about, when I played games like Super Metroid in the past and so on, the idea is really, what would that look like in 2018, right? If people would have just kept going in that direction, right? And we're really trying to do that. We're really trying to, have just the most incredible animators on this and artists on this, and really try to push that genre to its limits on the hardware that we have.
Yeah. Which do you prefer, Super Metroid or Symphony of the Night?
Super Metroid.
Yeah, you'd still rather play that today?
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough one. All right, so what are we seeing here?
There's a lot of gameplay that we're showing generally in the windswept wastes. You see Ori grappling a lot here. Every single area in the game has its own unique theme, right? And has its own unique challenges. So what you see here in the windswept wastes is there's these breaky platforms that we contextualize. So there's these sand platforms that you jump on and then they actually fall away under you, right? And there's a lot of that and how we escalate that. There was gameplay that we've just seen here before with hey, we have NPCs now, much more featured in this game. And to me, it's kind of similar to if you compare, for example, Zelda 1 on the NES to Zelda A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo, right? We wanted to take that step. Generally, one of the things that I told the team right at the start is that we want Ori and the Will of the Wisps to become to Blind Forest what Super Mario Bros. 3 was to the original Super Mario Bros. So we take that core.
You're skipping over both Adventures of Link and Super Mario Bros. 2. You're just leapfrogging those, going straight to...
But the idea is we wanted to take that core, right, and really just perfect it and really give people all the things that they've asked for. So when we read all these reviews, and I was on every single message board and everything, I just read everything, right? And basically, I hope with this game we take every single check mark that people have in terms of the gameplay and things that they've been asking for and so on. We really want to make sure that our fans are just super happy, right? And that they get a title that is just that just really makes them super happy.
Yeah. Like we were saying earlier, the first game was pretty emotional. Did you hear a lot from your fans about how the game touched them and was meaningful to them?
Oh, there's hundreds of YouTube videos online where people play the game and they actually start crying.
Yeah.
And We finished the story right around last year during our. We finished the story right around last year during our team retreat. We do an annual team retreat, and we pitched the story to the entire team. And there were quite a lot of people that were crying during that meeting. So yeah, it's going to be an emotional ride again, I think.
Not a lot of games do that. So here we're seeing, this is Ku, right?
Yeah, this is Ku. Yeah. So Ku actually plays a pretty big role in this game. Oh yeah, there's the trailer playing. So basically what we really wanted to focus on this year, right? Because last year we announced Ori and showed a couple of the environments. This year we just wanted to really fully go out and say gameplay, right? Like look at all the gameplay, all the different things that we're doing in this game, and just really make sure that, you know, people see the variety. And this is still nothing. I mean, there's so many areas that we weren't able to show off simply because you have to pack things into 2 minutes, right? But yeah, I mean, I hope people really study this trailer and like research it and then really get answers for, you know, all the questions that they've been slamming us with since last year.
Yeah, I'm glad we're seeing this again. I wanted to revisit this trailer because there's some really cool, I like this guy.
Yeah.
Really cool monster there.
Yeah, well,
I'm on board.
We'll keep that secret a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So, just one more little tag at the end of it. So your sequel, Will of the Wisps, is coming out in 2019.
Yes.
You don't have a date for us yet.
No, we don't. We really just want to focus on making the absolute perfect experience, right? And you know, these things take a little while. So yeah, it's coming out in 2019. I hope people are really, really excited about it.
If I can give you one piece of advice, maybe avoid February 22nd. Because there's already plenty of games coming out on that day. Any other day, 2019 works for me, though.
Yeah, okay, that's
cool. Thomas, thank you so much for coming by the show.
Absolutely.
All right, quick break, but when we come back, Aaron Greenberg will be breaking down everything we know. Stick around.